First of all, I want to talk about the UK context so that you understand what's going on in the UK. Not that that's terribly important to you, but I think it will help understand why we do the things the way we do at Bosworth. I want to talk about changes in higher education, university education in the UK, and the effect of that bigger picture on school management. And then I'll talk about Bosworth College itself, because that's what I know about. I need to put that in the context of regulation and compliance in the UK. So, looking at the UK, in April this year, there was a seismic change in higher education. There was the Higher Education and Research Bill. This was the most significant reform to the sector for over 20 years. I think probably a lot of teachers in the UK know nothing about this because it was higher education, universities. There was also a change, or in recent years there's been quite a change in the public exam system in schools. The exams that we take at age 16 and the exams that we take at age 18. And we also, as a principal of a school in the UK, have to comply with regulation. So it's all about the UK. Right, this bill then, this parliamentary bill and the changes in higher education, it was to make the quality of teaching in universities far more transparent. Universities historically received their funding from an organisation called HEFCE, the Higher Education Council for Funding, and a lot of the funding came from their expertise, the quality of research. Funding in the UK at university level these days, since this bill in April, no longer relies entirely on research and other factors. It's moved far, far more to student outcomes. Hold that expression, student outcomes. It's designed to broaden competition and to make higher education more accessible to more people. So again, that resonates with what you're talking about, making education more broadly more widely available to different sorts of people. So the Higher Education Bill is to assure high quality teaching and good job prospects for graduates. Students are at the centre of this. It's all about students receiving good value for money. This is a really big change. Universities used to tell people how fantastic they were because they knew everything. They did all the research. In schools, we were busy teaching and we thought that we perhaps knew what good teaching was. I used to teach at the second university in Oxford. There are two universities. There's the University of Oxford and Oxford Brookes University. I taught at Oxford Brookes. And I knew that sometimes some of the professors, there were 6 professors in my department, well, they didn't do any teaching at all. And those who, when they did have to do a little bit of teaching, it wasn't their area of expertise. Now, universities are judged for their funding on the quality of their teaching. So this new bill for higher education, universities, rates teaching at university as gold, silver or bronze. It's judged by the Quality Assurance Agency. That's the regulator. But the new frightening thing for universities is the Student Satisfaction Survey. Students are informing how the universities are going to be funded. So there is a national student survey. And the scores of that National Student Survey inform how much money the universities get. Wow. The universities will also be funded based on the retention of students, how many students stay on the courses, how many students finish the courses. Their job prospects. What's the employability like? Is the course relevant to the economy of the country? What's the point of studying the degree that they study? All of the focus is on student outcomes. So, the Office for Students. This is a new office. It's a new regulator. And there's one single regulator right across all of higher education, both the public sector funded institutions and private institutions. It's the same quality framework right across the sector. This has opened up competition. The long-established universities have competitors. The private institutions are coming in onto their territory. And this is offering students more choice because students can get funding to go to private institutions. Everything is on a level playing field. The funding comes from student satisfaction. So for private institutions, this is a big opportunity. It's also much more competitive. Lots of places now will be able to apply to award a degree. So new institutions are being established. Certain employees and companies that already exist are thinking, ooh, maybe we could open a university and train people in the skills that we want at graduate level that are very specific for what we want them to do. We're going to get relevant skills and people imbued with the values that we cherish. There's a quote now from our Universities Minister, Jo Johnson. It's been translated, fortunately. I'll just read it. Our reforms in the Higher Education and Research Bill will ensure that students can choose from a wider range of high-quality specialist institutions that can seek their own degree awarding powers and meet students' diverse needs, providing employers with the skilled graduates that will drive future productivity and the economic prosperity of our country. Do you remember our first speaker this morning talking about how we need to prepare young people to provide answers to problems we don't even know exist yet? So this is why I think this is relevant, because the change in higher education in the UK is trying to respond to the economic needs of the country, and I think that's what you're trying to do here as well, from what I'm hearing. There is an example already. Have you heard of the Dyson, James Dyson, Hoover? Shouldn't call him Hoover because he's not Hoover. James Dyson, the vacuum cleaner man. The Dyson Institute are offering a 4-year degree programme in engineering at their headquarters in Wiltshire in the UK. They're working with the University of Warwick, an established university, but Dyson are awarding their own degree. Big companies now can award their own degrees. I'm going to skip more about what Jo Johnson says because I don't want to run out of time. So, now you know about what's happening in UK universities, let's move on to what's happening in schools, because it's relevant, it's trickling down, or I tend to think it's actually trickling up. I think universities are learning from schools. Schools and universities in the UK, just like in Georgia, are all about quality. I've heard that word so many times today, so we're all talking about the same thing, quality, quality of education. We have a very rigorous examination system. Our exam system has changed recently and become more rigorous. The UK qualifications, I'm biased, obviously I'm from UK education. I would say that our GCSEs and our A-levels provide students in international education with a portable currency, a global currency. The qualifications are recognised worldwide. But, just as Paul was saying, school managers, just like higher education managers, must focus on student outcomes. Our students need to be happy. Just like your minister was saying, students and their parents are clients, and we need to satisfy them because they pay for this. Developing school services. We all need to recognise, I get criticised quite a lot actually by my staff, normally not face to face, it's when they can say things in a survey we do. Each year we ask staff to give us feedback and to suggest changes. One of the things that has happened over the last 2 years, I would say, is that I don't know whether it's the teachers or the cleaners or the maintenance staff, I don't know who it is, but some of the staff are feeling they want to complain a little bit that the school is becoming more and more of a business. Oh, it's not about school anymore, it's not about learning and teaching anymore, it's about it being a business. Well, it is a business. There's a transaction there, and it costs money. So we need to make money to pay the teachers, to provide the resources. It is a business, but it's the business of education. Parents and students most definitely expect a lot more. Do you feel this in your schools? Parents and students expect more. They expect quality. If they don't get what they want, they will come and complain. No longer is the teacher totally in charge. No longer is the school principal totally in charge. They expect a bit of negotiation. They want what's best for their child. So it's a much more commercial transaction. I will show off a little bit. At my college, we won a Service Excellence Award because the staff are very good at responding and providing a good service. But we have to, because if we didn't provide a good service, we wouldn't exist. It was feedback from parents and students that helped us win this award. And that's one of the practical ways in which we can evidence that we're doing a good job. Again, this morning I was talking about accountability and how you need to provide evidence that you're doing well. I just simply do a survey, an anonymous survey. I use SurveyMonkey, and we provide an online web link for our parents, staff and students, 3 separate surveys, so that they can give feedback anonymously, and then we collect the data and respond accordingly. Okay. Quickly then about the new qualifications, the changes in qualifications. The exams have become tougher, there's no doubt about it. There is much more emphasis on exams at the end of a 2-year programme. It's a normally 3 exams, 3 papers at the end of 2 years, sink or swim. If you happen to be unwell in that week when it's the exams, that's it, you will fail. So a change away from regular assessment and coursework. There's certainly a wider range of qualifications and a wider range of providers. Therefore, students at school have more choice. This is probably irrelevant to you, but just so you know, in the UK, the students can choose to go to different schools, and they will choose the school that they want to go to and hope there's a place. I'll go quickly through this bit. English and maths have become more important, perhaps, or recognised as being more important. Students at age 16 must get their English and maths. I think I heard you saying the same thing with the certificate that you do at age 16. So that's the same. If students fail their exam at age 16 in English and maths, they have to keep going, they have to keep going, they have to keep going, they have to take it again. Other subjects will follow in the grading will be changed. It's only English and maths that students must pass. The grading systems have changed. Again, you don't need to know this, so I'll go fast. A-levels. A-levels are the exam that students take at age 18, and depending on the grade that students get in A-level, they win their university place. I'm not going to go into detail, but again, it's become linear. The exams happen at the end of 2 years. And now the bit that I actually enjoy. It's not all about exams, but it is mostly about exams. I would far rather, in my heart, I would far rather that it were more about soft skills. Education in the UK does value problem solving, application of learning to unseen problems. Quite often in an exam, after an exam, students will come out of the exam and say, we hadn't done that, we hadn't covered that, my teacher didn't teach me that. But the question is asking the student to use the information they have been taught in a new context. Yes, they haven't seen the question, but if they are a clever student who's got good problem-solving skills, they can get the top grade. I will tell you about a parent, a Chinese parent, in fact, a parent from China complained, really made a big complaint to me. A parent wrote to say that it was very, very, very unfair because her daughter had failed a test. Her daughter had failed a test because the teacher hadn't told her the answers. So how could she learn them? Well, of course we don't give the answers. The students have got to work out the answers from their past learning. They have to solve problems. So it's this difference between learning by memory and actually understanding that we value. We like collaborative working, and again, that's a word that we've heard a lot. Today. Right, I'll go quickly. We value questioning. I did have a video of a student who talks about the things she enjoys, but we'll skip that. And we'll get on to the structure at Bosworth. The values of the college. Will delegates get a copy of the slides? So, again, I'll skip through the things that are important because I said them this morning. But I just want you to see structure. Or maybe. We're inspected by the Independent Schools Inspectorate. the things that we are measured against, the things that we have to do well, are the quality of education that's provided, the spiritual, moral, social and cultural development of pupils, health, welfare and safety of pupils, the suitability of staff and the premises, provision of information, the manner in which complaints are dealt with, the quality of leadership and management, and national minimum standards for boarding. Do you see how much of that is to do with not really about teaching? It's just the first bit, really, that's about quality of teaching. So there's lots more about making sure that the children are safe, that the premises are safe. Go through that. Okay, how it works, we have a proprietor, we have a group executive director, we have an independent advisory board, and me. I have 5 teams: a head of boarding, an IT consultant and his team, the vice principal and the teachers, the finance team, the bursar, and head of international marketing and admissions. The teaching bit is what you're interested in, probably. So that middle band down there, we have a vice principal and 2 assistant principals. The vice principal, who's back at college now, getting ready for the first day of teaching on Monday, he has an assistant principal who looks after the welfare side, the pastoral side of the college. He has course directors and personal tutors who happen to be teachers as well. This dark blue band down this side, this is the assistant principal who looks after the teaching, the curriculum, the subject content. We have a learning and behaviour management specialist to tell off the naughty students, and another assistant principal who liaises between parents and the teaching team. But the important bit, and I really want to get to this slide, sorry Irina, I will go fast, is this bit. It looked so tidy, but the message, of course, is what you were saying earlier, is that it's not, as Paul was saying, top down or bottom up. Each of the teams liaises, communicates with each other. So it's a very, very untidy model. But the important bit is that people talk to each other and liaise. The cleaning team tell me that somebody has left a whole lot of horrible chewing gum underneath the benches and it's taken them 3 days to clean it. So we decide, we'll have a think and decide we're going to ban chewing gum, no more chewing gum. But that was because the cleaners told us. We all have to talk to each other. The biggest question, of course, is where are the students? And of course, the students are at the heart of the model. It's all about being student-centred. So I hope that's been helpful. It's that model of how the structure of the college works and the communication and the collaborative working with the right people that makes it work. At least I think it works, but we have to keep listening, learning and improving, as will you, I'm sure. Thank you.